Firewatch isn't a flashy game, it doesn't have big moments, and it follows a man at the lowest point in his life. So why did it stick with us? Why do we consider a 4-hour long game one of the best stories ever made? Well, I've been thinking about that for a while now, and I think the reason we love Firewatch so much is because of the simplicity of the plot, but even though it doesn't have big stakes like saving the world, it still tells a great story. If you don't know, the story follows a man called Hank that just lost his wife to Alzheimer's. She isn't dead, but she returned to stay with her family because he couldn't take care of her anymore. To get away from everything and try and get more time with his thoughts, Henry takes a job as a fire lookout in a place called Two Forks Lookout. He develops a friendship with another lookout called Delilah, and during his time there, he discovers a sad mystery. In the previous summer, another lookout called Ned and his son Brian inhabited the tower where Henry lives now. Brian lost his life in an unfortunate climbing accident, and after that Ned just disappeared. During his stay at the lookout, Henry is being harassed by Ned that now lives in the forest and wants to stop him from learning the fate of his son. Henry however finds out, but it's too late. This happens at the end of the game when the forest around him is in flames, so he has to leave. So the whole game we try to find out what is going on, and when we finally do, nothing happens. We can't do anything about it. This leaves a sentiment of failure in us even though we beat the game. The same is with Delilah. Throughout the game we build this relationship with her and we become friends even though we never see each other. During the game, Henry can also see her lookout in the distance, and it being there makes us believe that our objective is to somehow get there. And when we finally do have the chance to meet, because the extraction point is at her lookout, she isn't even there. She took a helicopter that came before ours. So again, the game leaves us with this empty feeling. I've read somewhere that this game has more unsaid than said, and I agree with that. There are multiple theories about the game and how Delilah manipulates us for some unknown purpose, and how in fact she knew about Ned and Brian's death. And that might be true because there are a lot of clues that point in that direction, but we will never know, because the whole idea of Firewatch is to leave us unsatisfied and with more questions than answers. Another thing that is special about this game is the exploration. You are alone in a forest and you have to basically survive. You have an old school map that you use for navigation, and that really immerses you in the game. The scenery in this game is also amazing. The sights we see are simply beautiful. Plus, the forest and the ambient sound is just so relaxing. And everything I've talked about comes together perfectly to create such a unique experience. But again, the thing that makes it special, in my opinion, is this feeling of emptiness that you leave the game with. Usually, and by that I mean always, games are created to offer a fun and satisfying experience, but this game makes everything not the correct way, yet it still works. Sad stories aren't usually encountered in games, but Firewatch is a perfect example that sad stories sometimes are the best. If you didn't play Firewatch, do it. This is one of those games everyone should play at least once in their lives, and after you do, you will understand why. If you watched so far, thank you. Maybe consider subscribing and leaving a like. I will see you soon. Goodbye.